Well, morning guys. It's been a busy morning already. I have not actually even done any sharpening yet, but it's been busy. I haven't eaten anything yet. It is 10:15 in the morning. I've already had a bunch of stuff going on. Talking with customers, had some emails that I had to answer. And yesterday I managed to figure out who sent that knife. So what it was somebody drop shipped something to me and did not have the person shipping it send a note. So I knew I had talked to somebody about it. So what we're gonna talk about is how you get stuff to me, what to expect and how you should do stuff. So first things first, in pretty much every one of my videos, in the intro is my business card. Now I haven't done it in the last few. I'm gonna try and start and be more consistent about it, but there's usually information either at the beginning of the video, which you guys already just saw, which is my business card that has my contact info. Now, for permanent records, I like emails. So if you're reaching out, if it's the first time you've ever sent me anything, it's the first time we've ever made contact, I'd like an email or a text is fine if, you know, something like that. But I'd like to be able to have some information. So I get a lot of text messages. Hey, what would it take to do this and this and this? Well, just like when you meet somebody on the street, this is the proper way you do it. Hey, my name's such and such. I've got this item. Introduce yourself so that, because the thing is, I don't recognize the text number and I don't see anything that says anything really, you know, that there's a way that I can say, if there's no name in it and I know the person sent me something, I can't search it. So, first of all, introduction. I'm such and such. Kind of what you're looking for so that we can open a dialogue. Then, when you do get ready, because I'll send you my standard pricing that lays everything out. I've actually added the refinishing, which is a rough ballpark. If you're sending me something that's really complex, it's going to be more than $75 to refinish a knife. If it includes the blade, I have to add the sharpening, which is going to make it $100. Because I'm not sending a knife back to you, doll. If I refinish the blade to a point that it requires resharpening, it's going to be at a minimum $100. So, I'll send you my standard pricing. And then when you send me the package, because the thing is, like I said yesterday, I have already answered 22 emails today. That's what I've been doing since 7:30 this morning, is going through emails and text messages and things like that. Yeah, I got my daughter off to school and helped my wife make her lunch and stuff like that. My wife doesn't feel real great today. My wife had to go off to work. I had to take the dog for a walk. You know, the mundane things that just being a human entail. So, with that much interaction between me and customers, I'm not going to remember what you and I talked about 2 weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago, when you decide to finally get around to sending me something. Because I do understand, sometimes it takes a while to finally, oh, I got to get those knives sent off. So, when you pack the stuff up, this is a good way to do it. If it comes in a case, send the case. Cases are awesome. I hate having to try and figure out how, after I do elaborate finish work and things like that, like, how am I gonna keep this from being scratched? I have to put extra work into packing it up to prevent scratching and things like that. If it comes in a case, send it in the case. It's not gonna cost you any extra if you're using a flat rate box. So this came USPS in an envelope. I'm not gonna show you things. So this came from Bradley. So Bradley Leffert, Brad has sent me stuff before. I've done stuff for Brad. So Brad already knows. And inside is a note. This is imperative. I gotta have, at a minimum, I need a note with at least contact info. If you're somebody that I do, like Bradley and I have talked back and forth, Peter and I talk back and forth, you know, there's a few of my customers I talk to like almost on a weekly basis. Like Dwayne Smotherman. Dwayne and I talk sometimes a couple times a week. If you're some of my customers that have been long-time customers, sometimes we just text and just, you know, we bullshit back and forth. I don't need the contact info piece. But the thing is, when you send it and you don't send a note, so Brad has sent me a note and it says exactly what he wants. He wants 2,000 grit plus strop on one, 3,000 grit plus strop on another, text me if there's any questions. It's got the phone number, and it says return to, and it has his return address, which 9 times out of 10 I'm getting off. 9 times out of 10 will keep your stuff together in the packing it came in so that I have the return address. If I don't, then I have this stays with your item, the note does, and then I can reach out to you and I can contact you. The thing is, I had been when I only had maybe 30 or 40 customers, I made a contact in my phone for every customer. I can't do that anymore. If I had my phone in my hand, currently I'm using it for this. Tiger, psst, knock it off. Stop, that's Isabel's. Cat's playing with Isabel's skating bag stuff. Tiger! So, when I had, you know, I can't have that many contacts in my phone, I really can't. So it's easier to keep a permanent record of things through email. So if you are gonna send me a text, I would ask that you also send me an email, because an email is a permanent record. My phone will only hold so many text messages, and this is where the note becomes imperative. Even if you and I have talked via text, there's a good chance my phone will only hold so many text messages. I scroll to the bottom and I'm like, fuck, how long did I talk to this guy? So the note becomes imperative. So on my pricing structure, when I send it, there's a note that says any knives that do not contain a note will go to the end of the line, and that's where they stay. And this is, I'm gonna be really strict about this. I spent a good bit of time yesterday tracking down 2 customers that did not put notes in. They know who they are. I'm not gonna call them out in a public forum, but I spent a lot of time, and like, remember, this is yellow time. I'm on yellow time because this is important. This is part of my business. But you remember that's red time. That was red time. I wasted time that I won't ever get back and could not be making money. Every hour that I am not at that bench is time that I'm not making money, and I'm not paying for my daughter's skating, and I'm not paying for the roof over my head. This is the bane of being a small business owner. This is the hard part. You have to weigh your time. How many hours am I going to work today to pay for these things? So time that I'm spending tracking down customers that did not put any contact info, all I have is a return address, that time is no longer going to get spent. What I will do is I will put any items that come now without a note, which I already did. There's a box now. I now have a box upstairs in my office. Anything without a note goes in that box until said owner reaches out to me and I'm like, hey, there you are. Now I can figure out what you want. I won't even touch them. If I open it and there's no note, it automatically goes in the box, unless I know who it is. Unless I know that person, like I said, Dwayne Smotherman, some of these other guys that have been long-term customers that I talk to regularly. Yeah, but people that I'm not gonna spend that time going back through all these text messages. I will take a minute or two and search that name. I'll search that name in my Gmail and see if I get anything. After that, it's done. It goes in that box until they contact me. So those are the things that I expect from you guys, the customer. I know what you guys expect from me. Expect your knives to be gorgeous and sharp and pretty. I know what the expectations are from me, but now it's my turn that things are starting to get busier. I have to put some expectations on the customer. This is a two-way thing. This is not just me. I have got to put some expectations on you, the customer. And there's some other things too. I have my LLC in, I'm waiting on the paperwork, but I am going to make a caveat now. I want you guys to understand that if something gets damaged in shipping, I am not going to be held responsible as part of the charter of my LLC. If I do damage to knives, you can ask anybody that I've talked to. I've damaged knives. It's been a very long time. I take responsibility for those things. That's just one of the things that when you do something like this, you have to be willing to accept responsibility for. I take a knife apart, I do damage. I did a pin for a guy, got the springs mixed. There happened to be a spring there. I grabbed the spring, I put it in. I said, wow, that thing feels a little different. I don't know. I grabbed the wrong spring. There just happened to be another spring there that was in the area. Went back a few days later when he said, hey, did you put a wrong spring in this? I was like, you know what? I looked for the spring, couldn't find it. Looked all over, I could not find the spring. I sent the guy the money because he contacted the company. I sent him the money for the spring. That's just me. there's a lot of people like they're like, oh, there's a hold harmless. I'm not responsible for any damage. You're sending it to me. To an extent, yes, but I mean, for small things, yeah, I'll own up. If I've got to reach out to a fucking maker and say, hey, I need a new set of bearings for this knife. I lost a set of bearings, and I'm gonna keep the owner informed of these things. So there's expectations on both sides of this. My expectations of you are so much lower. I need a note. If you're getting something drop shipped to me from an address or name that is not yours, I need to know ahead of time, and you need to have that person also put a note, because just because you and I talked about it doesn't mean that I'm going to remember that guy's name, and when a package shows up, I'm like, who the fuck is this? So, if you're having something shipped to me from someone else, ask them to please put the note in the box. And all it is this item is for such and such. That simple. So, those are our expectations from me to you and you to me. So, are we all happy? We all good? Everything's cool? Or, what was it? Fifth Element? Green? Green? Super green. And then I had a couple of you guys, pointed out, a couple of you guys were talking about the fact that the thing under my eye looked really bad, had gotten to looking really bad. It was all, but it came off. It got frozen. And so now there's just a little red mark. I don't have that big lump under my eye anymore. And this is peeling off, and it's kind of sore underneath, but so if you guys were worried about how bad that thing looked, that's all it was. It got frozen. I appreciate the concern. I do appreciate the concern. They froze it. And my daughter says thank you to all of you that sent her congratulations and things like that. So that's the end of this video. That's all this was, is just how you get things to me. My shipping address, I don't have it in the videos. The reason I don't put it in the videos is I don't want just a bunch of shit shipped to me without there being some contact, because people don't always know my pricing structure. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't exactly know. Like, I had a guy that wanted to talk to me. He's like, oh, can you do that refinish on my knife? And da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, he's like, how much is it? And I was like, we got to talking about the complexities and the difficulties of the specific knife he wanted done. And I was like, you're looking at like probably 150, 160 bucks to do everything you're wanting done. He goes, wow, I was kind of thinking like 50 or 60 bucks. I was like, no, I take the knife apart. I got to refinish the whole thing. I got to polish, and then I got to do ceramic. I do all these other things, because he wanted something really complex. And I was like, I can't do it for that. I mean, I could sharpen it for you for 25 or 30. And so if you send something to me without making previous contact, it can be dicey, you know? You got my stuff, and then I'm like, yeah, but I don't know what you want me to do with it. So it's always better to make contact. This knife, it appears, is sold already, the Gnome. Some knives have shown up. Yakov, this is here. Brandon, yours is here. Louis, I already talked to you. I think he's gonna do Western Union on this. And then this one, I've got to reach out. I think Bob Wanamaker said he wanted to purchase one of these neck knives, that he needed one. So, that being said, end of the video, whole bunch of shit to sharpen, and I got to sharpen a couple things and drive them up to Elliot so he has his stuff back. I'm probably going to do that tomorrow morning and drop them off after I sharpen them this morning. So, guys, love y'all. Take it easy. That's all this was. Expectations on both sides of the street. So, you guys take it easy, and I will see you next time. Oh, there's another, so that you guys know, there will be another Saturday vlog video. Saturday or Sunday. Not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. And so that you guys know as well, things will be slow. I am going to go ahead and take the hit on making the money as quickly. I know I just got a ton of stuff in. I'm going to get a bunch more stuff in. Blade show's over. Wife and kid leave in like 2 weeks. I haven't got to spend much time with them. I worked all day yesterday when I could have spent time with them in the evening. So that's... I have to balance that time. I'm not going to see them for 2 months. So I have to balance that time. So, all right, guys, appreciate everything. You guys take it easy. I'll see you next time.